That
Unscramble your mind, stop wasting your time. You've been walking in the blind, so unscramble your mind. Oh, unscramble your mind. You're suspended in time. It's time for you and me to set our minds free. So unscramble your mind.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. It is Sunday, and y'all know I am Sister Freedom, and I'm ready to get it in.
Peace and love. Happy Sunday, everyone. I'm Dulcie.
Ooh, my fault. My fault, y'all.
It is Sunday, Annie. Well, welcome. Take your shoes off. Take your hair down. Take it off. Throw it to the side. I'm Nisha.
And I'm D to O to the T to the S, and y'all already know. Happy Sunday.
Hey, everybody, and look who's here. Look who
in
is
comes
here. Ain't
in,
that something?
in comes the straggler.
Rod Hayes in the
Boom.
house. Hey, Rod.
I'm mad because I can't flirt right, but I ain't gonna say nothing.
Don't do it, Rod. Not tonight. Not tonight.
They hiding from me.
You see?
Right. Okay. For those who don't know you, for those who don't know
We all know
the
him.
chief, Rod, Pontiac, and all that, introduce yourself.
I'm a little old nobody that found a little something that tried to help everybody with the little something I found.
Bars.
Is that enough? Because he know everything.
No, I don't. Don't you believe that? I don't know I just know a whole lot of shit, but I don't know everything.
Okay. You just know a whole
Because as
lot.
soon as somebody think they know everything, a little kid gonna come and ask them a question, gonna humble their ass.
I know that's right, Rod. Rod, you missed the conversation last week. It was a serious conversation last week, and it
What
was
was y'all
on
talking about?
the invasion of the body snatchers. Well, as Nisha would say, where's Willie? We had a serious conversation on how body parts are stolen and sold, and people finding people with like kidneys missing and all kinds of stuff. And we're talking about how this has been going on for a long time.
Yeah, that's why they embalmed the pharaohs.
Yeah.
You ever notice they take all the organs out and put them in what's called a canoptic jar?
And
Each one of the canoptic jars is represented by the spirit protection of a particular ancestor for a reason.
that's true.
They take the organs out the body because they can reanimate the body with a different essence in it that ain't that person. So that's what made them start doing embalmings. The second part is the cheat sheet for the reincarnation cycle, where you can bypass it if you don't want to be here as one of the gods. When you first came to the earth and you was assigned as the earthborn spirit of the earth or Neteru, you had to stay until your job was complete. That's what trapped you in your reincarnation cycles. Then they tried to figure out a way to escape the reincarnation cycle, so they didn't, because they was tired of doing their work. All of them wasn't trying to escape, but just some of them. So they used it for um, to escape and bypass the gatekeeper gods, the ones that enforce the will of the universe. By the physical corpse, minus the
Mm-hmm.
organs, they still got a frequencies that they hear. This is why you have burials instead of cremation. Cremation, you come right back. You can come right back in a regular burial, but not as fast as when you cremate it,
Mm.
because you don't have an anchor. Your soul is freer. And when you cremate it, you don't carry the residual frequency of the karmic debt because it's tied to your former corpse. All of the generational curses
That's right.
is tied to us through our DNA program. The DNA program is computer data. Like they can hook you up to a computer, and you ain't gotta have no microchips, and they can hack your DNA just off of the frequency of through epigenetics. All they need is a sensor and a projector to your frequency, and they can alter your DNA. A lot of the stuff they doing now was how they came to learn how to alter the DNA. You know that symbol for the American Medical Association? They call it the caduceus,
Mm-hmm.
but the one with the single serpent around it, that's called the Asclepius rod, right? They mean two entirely different things. The two serpents is the two helixes of the DNA. And the staff in the middle is supposed to represent the spinal column of the upright. The wings at the top represent a full Kundalini awakening, right? They don't have wings at the top of Asclepius rod, and they only have a single serpent. The rod of Asclepius is the original symbol of the American Medical Association, not the caduceus. The caduceus comes with hermeticism and real medicine, right? So they villainize and demonize the caduceus, but they respect and honor the rod of Asclepius. Why is there only one serpent around the rod? Because that's only the ascending frequency, not the descending frequency, right? So what is the ascending frequency and what is the descending frequency? There's twin energies. One is called sex energy and one is called spirit energy.
Mm.
Spirit energy comes through the crown to the root. Sex energy go from the root to the crown. So the ascending energy is sex energy. So the serpent that's ascending the rod represent the rule over the rod or the upright with the mechanism or the frequency of sex energy, pornography. The god of pornography is called porne, where you get the word pornography from. The pornographic or the obscene thing is what is represented as pornography. In the Asclepius staff model, the obscene thing is the sexual rise in energy with no concern for the spiritual connection and the descending energy, separating the individual from source. So the science of Asclepius rod, based just on the symbolism, is sex energy used as the rod of correction. Sex abuse.
Mm.
The sex abuse they make in reference to in the American Medical Association is they was trying to determine how to make a man be able to give birth to a baby like a woman. And that's why we in this conundrum we in right now.
And
Because everybody,
why?
why do a man want to have a baby like a woman?
Why? Where would it come out?
Right, those are inverts. They came from a mirror dimension. The the hive queen of the ones that came through the mirror dimension was named Vatican, who they named the Vatican after, who usurped the reigning and ruling sacerdotal seat of the youngest daughter of Isis called Europa. It was 12 daughters of Isis. Isis held the 13th seat. Anybody that don't think I know what I'm talking about, just ask for AI on your Google to give you the 12 around one story of Isis and the 12 daughters. Sometimes call her 12 sisters. Because once you get that position, y'all all considered equal. So even the daughter is considered the sister. That comes from the idea or the understanding that when the mother was forming in her mother's womb, her daughter egg was developing in hers simultaneously. So every daughter is her mama's sister at the same time. She's her mama's daughter.
Wow.
I was gonna ask Nisha, did she have anything to say? Because I'm gonna tell you, Nisha, it's really been on my mind since you said about because you made me have to go back and look at my license, girl. You said when you said I bet you Freedom was a donor, you made me have to go back and look at my license to make sure. But anyway, did you have anything that because Nisha made a statement last week that was very, 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 very important. What
Okay,
she
let her make it again.
no, what she stated was don't put you to be a donor on your license because it's very they so sneaky because you
They
could be
not
a
sneaky.
donor and they know it. Explain how you said it, Niche.
I just said don't make yourself a organ donor on your license because you become a target at that point.
Yes. You had me scared ever since. Just calling my kids and my family, say y'all don't put your name on it as a
Have
donor.
anybody ever anyone of y'all ever studied organ harvesting and organ donation?
Mm,
Because I'm about to
Studied
give
it?
you
No, I haven't
I'm about
studied
to
it.
I'm about to give you a spoiler based on what Nisha just said. And they cannot transplant a cadaver organ into a live body.
what you mean? Um,
If you die, they can't transplant your organ.
oh, so they gotta catch you before you. They gotta catch you while you're alive. They
Yep.
can't.
There is nobody who has a donated organ that was dead when they harvested the organ.
Wow. And I
Right.
was
No, of course. Yeah.
yeah, because we was no, because remember I had said something like when you in there and they they cut your body and all that. I was thinking that they could still use parts that may still, but I guess what you saying make a lot of sense. Is you did so they not working because the
Yeah.
body shuts down
Yeah.
Right.
when
Do
you go
you
through
know
the
what
process to leave
happens?
out.
This is why they can't.
I heard that too.
Nobody died from what they told us they died from.
Hmm.
Everybody that died from the same thing. It's called hypoxemia, which is actually oxygen deprivation to the critical organs of the body. When the oxygen deprivation sets in, the organs are no longer harvestable because they start to decay almost as soon as the oxygen decreases. You know what they do with the cadaver organs they steal at the morgue?
What?
They put them on plates. They serve them at luncheons and dinners. They cannibals. The inverts are cannibals. They love the loose energy, but they also love the euphoric high they get from eating human flesh.
But why is ours? Why do they mainly want ours? Could you
That's an illusion. That's to push the race paradigm. Racism was created as a war strategy to keep the poor people at the bottom fighting each other. That's why it looked like all the rich niggas and the rich crackers get along. Because they do. because they keep us fighting racial boundaries at the bottom, we can't never figure out who got us conquered from the top. When you get to a certain level of education, you at a certain pay bracket. At that level of education, real racism don't exist. Classism exists. It's another measure along the pyramid of divide and conquer. When you overcome the racist paradigm and the religious controversy and the gender confusion, now you stuck at trying to navigate the socioeconomic disparities. So all of these is obstacles to put in your awakening to slow you down and prevent you from seeing what's really taking place behind the scenes, because they're doing it in our face, but it's not being told to us. Our understanding of the narrative is being controlled by people that want to keep us confused. And so they used all this is military. None of this is matriarchal order. Matriarchal order requires everybody to move with the frequency that nature. The whole concept of nature versus nurture is a conflicting idea of the same thing, the top of the stick or the bottom of the stick. It's the same stick. Nurture is how nature impart wisdom to the offspring that's growing. When you deviate from nature, you go into synthetic mental system. That means it's made up. Ask any woman in the world, if she feel like it's danger that way, is she gonna go?
No,
Even if you can't see nothing down there. She designed not to go.
right.
It don't feel right. That's not how men are designed. Men are designed to say, hey, what the hell going on down there? Men are designed to walk into the danger. And the harmony and the balance comes in when he know why he walking into the danger. Because he's trying to protect her. Because she felt the danger, he finna fix it. Unless he's not a man, he's just an adult male, then his agenda is different. The natural masculine, when the woman sense danger, she go away from it, he go to it. That's called natural order. This is why they try to interfere with the mother's nurturing of the child to grow in the way they should go. If you can confuse the mothers and you can attack enough mothers, you can prevent a people from ever reclaiming their sovereignty for a long time. So everybody be like, why is the attack on the women so strong? And it's the same with the men and the women, it's just different. And the cause and the reason to attack the men and the women are different. They want to attack the women to control the family and the bonds that families build, because strong families make strong communities. Strong communities make strong countries. Strong countries make for motherfucking fierce enemies to the foreigner. So to soften that, you have to first break the family up. And then you got to create a condition by which family members easily allow outsiders to get in family business unwarranted. That's why I tell people all the time, if you see me and my brother fighting, don't get in it, because we're going to fuck you up together.
That's a fact.
I used to tell my homeboys that if me and my brother be fighting when y'all come around, man, please don't get in it. Because you're going to get the business from both of us. Now, that don't mean we ain't going to start back fighting when it's over with, though. right? But when we get done fighting, we gonna go eat a pizza, drink a beer, and laugh about that shit. So don't get in it, cause you just got a free ass whooping for nothing. We still brothers. Now you gonna go away mad when I told you don't get in it. The family bond with us is stronger than outside alliance. Now, certain friends is the family you pick. You know, cause they always with your family. They ain't with theirs. And they held the same bond of loyalty to you that your family do. Then you got people that's relatives that should be family, but they outsiders in the bloodline. Cause they don't want to honor the bond of the family. They just relatives. And then you have the people on the other side of the country you ain't never met that move like you, feel like you do. That's called a kindred, right? So we need to understand all this stuff if we're gonna rebuild the tribal structure and everybody gonna move to their proper position because you can't fix the problem unless you put everything back where it belongs, not where you want it to be. And these patriarchs is gonna throw full bitch fits about women reclaiming the power because they feel some kind of way. I don't care that they feel some kind of way because we got 7 generations yet unborn that we laying this foundation for, and I ain't finna let you get in the way of my children having their best life in the future.
I know that's right.
You not finna ruin mine if I could say something about it.
I,
Self-sacrifice is the highest form of sacrifice. I sacrifice myself willingly for mine. But I know one thing about it. When I get done doing the sacrifice, the person that was the one responsible that I was sacrificed to, gonna wish he wouldn't have never took that job, the executioner. He gonna wish he never took that job. Because although I was a willing sacrifice, I still was innocent as a lamb. Because I was so sincere when I was telling the truth.
well, let me say this though, Rod,
Yeah.
'cause I know
Oh.
everyone has questions. Did you want to add something before I said something, Dots?
Oh, I have so many things that you're talking about that just is in my mind.
Yeah,
I
it was
want
in
to
my
ask,
mind too.
but
Like,
I want to skip Dulcie and then
yeah,
Nisha. So I'll wait for those two to go before.
yeah. If they had a question or what have you.
Yeah,
Did y'all
we do.
have
Yeah,
something
we
y'all
do.
wanted to say?
Okay,
Dawson,
so
go ahead.
who was that? Dulcie or Nisha? All right.
No,
So
I don't know who.
speaking about the you when you were talking. One second, Rod, real quickly. Forgive the manners, right? I wanted to just say thank you to everybody in the chat coming in. We see each and every one of you. We're happy you're here. I'm going to post Rod's Cash App, of course, at the bottom of the screen. And please, please, please show your love because we definitely appreciate it. And don't forget to like and share. We see each and every one of you. But Rod, you had made me think of a few things when you were talking about the matriarchy, the breaking down of the or the war on the matriarchy and splitting up or breaking up the family. And I had thought like that is definitely systematic, right? And the first thing that came to mind, because like when you try to do something like that, right, you want to interrupt the bonding between the mother and the child, the mother and the newborn, right?
I know.
And I just started thinking about the push. Like I remember when I was having my, when I was pregnant with my sons, it was almost as if they were really encouraging to bottle feed and not breastfeed, right? So
Hmm.
even at the earliest stages of when you and your child are bonding, what begins to happen is that you'll have some women feel like, oh, I'm not breastfeeding, I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? Like mentally, because it's been sort of like this programming, if you will, right? Not understanding that that connection is it's just like it's vital. So you're not breastfeeding, for example, and we know what breast milk gives. It's very important. right? It interrupts any type of relationship, possibly that a mom and her child can have, right? So that's real deep, and that's what you made me think of, initially. Let me ask a question. The invasion, as we would say, the invasion of the body snatchers. How does that happen per se? Because I know we talk about bloodline a lot, right? But how does that happen? Is it that you're born into it?
No, it's several
What would you
ways by
say?
which a person. There's several ways a person's body can be used by a different spiritual force. One of them is a walk-in. Walk-ins, when the person's body rejected, they call that spirit possession. Because you're trying to fight back. Some walk-ins frequency match the body so well that the body don't fight back.
Mm.
But you will see the person's features change in short order. It won't take long. Like today they might look like Mike Tyson, and then next week they look like Sammy Sosa. Two totally different appearances.
Yeah.
But you still remember them as the person who originally held the meat suit. There's also a high magic um, conjure that they can use to transfer the essence from one body to another. They normally preserve that for the age to transfer them into a youthful uh, form, right? The discovery of this ancient technique, they call it avatar jumping.
Mm.
The um, billionaires put together something called the Lazarus Group. And the goal was for them to discover how to live without the body dying. Right now, most of them old shriveled up, and they use um, adrenochrome as a youth serum. But there's some of them that jump bodies, and what they do is they take the old person might be in their deathbed, so they'll lay them on one table, and then the person that they sedated for him to take their body, they first got to inject them with a massive amount of sedative to totally relax the body. Once they've injected them with enough sedative, they got to give them a psychotropic, either a PCP or LSD, something that detaches the mind from the body. Then they perform their ritual.
Mm.
The the old person is being taught leading up to this astral projection techniques so that he can loosen his astral form from his physical form, right? And then they do a bodily fluid exchange between the youthful form and the aged form. Normally, it's a blood transfusion. And that's why they have to find somebody that has the same blood type, the same way you get a transfusion in the hospital, because they need a body where when they give them a blood transfusion, it won't reject the blood of the old person,
Mm.
right?
Interesting.
So that's the ritual. A lot of those people like uh Henry Kissinger and all them, they was into that. George Herbert Walker Bush, they was into that. But they never had a chance. They got caught before they jumped bodies because they normally have to cross the 100-year mark in order to be spiritually strong enough to adhere to the new form. Right. So you
Wow.
got the walk in, you got the conjure, right? Walk ins can come in for various reasons. The original soul might no longer want to live out his soul contract. So there's also a soul waiting on the opportunity because he was interrupted, car accident, a murder. He got interrupted from fulfilling his contract. So he come in as a walk-in and somebody else.
Mm.
That's what the movie JD's Revenge was about.
Mm. What?
With Petey Week, I mean, Dolomite.
The guy played. He played the military guy on what's that show they made for Lisa Bonet after she left the Cosby Show, that college show? Different World, is that the name of it?
Different world. Yeah, different world.
Right. The guy that played in JD's Revenge was the one that played that military general in there. His Thurman or something.
Okay, the Colonel guy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He, yeah, he played JD Walker. I think you talking about Human Tornado with Dolomite.
Right, right, right,
'Cause
right,
they
right.
were, yeah, this is a little different. But the walk in and JD's Revenge came in because the guy that was playing the preacher in the movie was doing some dirt and killed JD on the killing floor. So the dude that played on a different world, he was going through a spiritual awakening, and at the same time, JD was looking for an entry gate. So he ended up taking control of the man's body in order to get revenge on the preacher. That's why it's called JD's Revenge. It's just, but it's like a study in how walk-ins can jump bodies, but you don't know the rules. Most people don't know the rules. A walk-in just can't walk in. They got to be invited.
So how does that work? How does the soul contracts work, and how do someone get invited? Yeah, expound on that a little bit. That
Okay,
sounds
so when you like you get despondent in this life when you can't remember your purpose. Then you fall into what's called apathy. A deep apathetic state is what you experience when you give up on your soul contract. Then you'll go through probably a dream vision or something where you will be given the opportunity to step out of the contract and allow somebody else to step in. You will be counseled in the spiritual, but you won't remember it in the physical because we are operating from the position of amnesia, which goes back to what Doc was saying about the hospitals and the babies and the mothers and the breast milk. The first major disruption up until they start doing fetal psychology, the first major interruption between the mother and the child was cutting the umbilical cord before the placenta release because it sends the chemical signature to the mother of an abortion, which is one of the major causes of postpartum depression. Even though you physically looking at this child, your biochemistry told you it was dead. So you simultaneously trying to be a mother and grieving at the same time. Postpartum depression.
wow, that's
The
deep.
next thing is you're supposed to attach the newborn to the mother's breast in order for the chemistry that goes between the mother and child through the umbilical cord that
Yes.
tells the mother she's successfully birthed a live child. Then while
Mm-hmm.
she's breastfeeding, the baby is going to be looking to make eye contact. This particular link is called pair bonding. And in the pair bonding process, the breastfeeding child stimulates the areola to produce oxytocin in the brain,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And something called, I think it's beta endorphin. And this chemicals and with the prefrontal lobe having the mirror cells while the baby looking at the mother, they establish in a spiritual connection. When this don't happen, because they want to whisk the baby away into the other room,
Mm.
they interfering with the natural bonding process of mother to child. The proper process, any doula will tell you, we don't cut the cord
Right.
before the mother's second wave of contractions
Mm.
come. to release the placenta. That's stimulated by the baby breastfeed, because when the mother's colostrum go into the baby's stomach, it sends out a whole cascade of chemical reactions in the child.
Mm-hmm.
These chemical reactions in the child is creating an immune system. It's creating a baseline frequency for character development, right? And it's also creating a natural child to mother reverence. So then when the baby's body is filled with the transfer frequency that comes from the colostrum, the child then sends a responding signal through the waistline of the umbilical cord. The mother is processing this through the uterine wall. This is why they don't simultaneously release the placenta with the child, because the child had to feed the successful birth energy and the proper pair binding energy back through the umbilical cord before the mother decides to release it. When they don't pair bind, she's releasing it because of an abortion. She's not releasing it because she's naturally connected to her child. They know all this stuff. I'm telling you, ain't none of this stuff a secret. And all of
Mm-hmm.
the dudes know why they don't want their girls to go to the hospitals.
And you said this is tied to the memories of a child, like the memories that they would have had if they had that bonding time or connection with the placenta dropping.
The memory erasure comes with the bright lights in the delivery room. The shock to the optic nerve shocks the brain from the bright ass lights, going straight from the dark into these bright ass lights. It's the same where they got that flasher from on Men in Black. That's where the concept come from. Flashing the child at birth with bright lights to erase past life memories was the purpose. If you go ask the doulas, they'll tell you a child should be born in an ambient lit room with a median temperature that's balanced, normally roughly around 70 degrees, right? Then you have water births and you have dry births, depending on the preference of the parents. So the doulas knew all of this stuff before Western science told y'all that they was witches and they should be burned at the stake. We ain't know that they was our birth maidens. And they was calling them witches because they was healing babies from illnesses by vegetable gardens that was planted over the placenta and discarding it after the lotus birth.
Mm-hmm. And hospitals are so quick to cut that, like you said, like cut the umbilical cord as soon as that baby come out. If you're in a hospital setting, and it's like
Yeah.
it make you think of a very traumatic experience when you're coming into the world versus just allowing that umbilical cord to fall off naturally, or you know what I'm saying? Give it some time, but they cut it immediately, and that absolutely is traumatic.
You know how they swat the baby on the butt to make them cry?
Yes.
They say that they do that to force the baby to breathe. That's BS. The baby, you hold him upside down to drain his lungs from the amniotic fluid. Every doula do this. That's where the process of holding the baby upside down by the feet come from, is to use gravity to suck his lungs. Then when you put him on the teat, that's what's gonna trigger him to breathe without him having to cry first. But they doing two things with slapping him on his butt is his first trauma in the physical world. Welcome to the world, motherfucker. We finna fuck over you every
Literally.
chance we get. The other thing
Mm-hmm.
that they do, and they don't understand the psychology, most parents don't, is having the father prematurely cut the cord. The mother is watching him cut the cord. Remember this. Her chemistry telling her somebody just killed her baby just died. and she looking at this motherfucker cutting the cord. What that's gonna do to their relationship from an energetic level? When she keep looking at him, even though she see this child, her chemistry told her that she aborted. So she got conflict. The 3D reality is conflicted with her biochemistry and her emotional body. This is why a lot of the women start striking out at their husband in rage after they give birth and they don't know what's happening. It got nothing to do with what they told you it was. It's because in the chemical visual analysis, the mother is feeling like this nigga killed my baby. How long do you think she gonna stay with him? In harmony, that is.
They call it
This,
postpartum depression.
yeah,
That's the
that's the
name.
broken pair bond. The trigger for
Yeah.
postpartum depression is the broken pair bond.
Yeah.
So now, do you break the pair bond with the child, and she see the daddy down there with the scissors? It's basic math after that. The pair bond is broke. She finna be grieving and depressed. And the daddy got down there where the trauma is taking place at, the daddy holding the scissors. He's gonna catch the brunt of that. It's gonna come back to get him. And his dumb ass don't know no better. He in there smiling like he really doing something. He happy he see his child. He don't know the proper procedure for birthing the child. He ain't probably 9 out of 10 of them ain't never even seen a doula, let alone talk to one. So all this is part of what y'all call body snatching, because it's
Hmm.
using the people against their will to do other people's bidding as cat's paws, pawns on the board. And that's why they don't want you to snap out of it. Because when you start seeing all of these little things, you're like, that's too much stuff. They doing too much stuff. If they would allow the baby to take the mother's colostrum, everything she immune to, he immune to. They don't want that. Because then they wouldn't have no justification for vaccination.
Wow.
You muted, Freedom. You muted.
Do you think that they take the placenta even okay, you know how some people ask for their placenta. Some people ask for can they have they bury it, they got, spiritual things that they do with it. Do you think that they keep most women's placenta and sell it off and do things with it?
Most of the placentas is makeup and pate. The pate for the hors d'oeuvres is mostly placentas. But you have to be in the right socioeconomic bracket to be able to afford that pate.
Mm-hmm.
So they made us a cheaper version out of fucking cow liver or something.
Well, Rod, if okay, I got a spiritual question to ask. Okay, say I wasn't dead yet, but I was about to die, and you needed my eyes. The okay, and just say the last thing that I saw with my eyes was a tragedy, but you needed my eyes, and they gave you my eyes. Do you think that now because you have my eyes that there's some type of spiritual connection between me and you because you still have parts of me? I mean, it could be any part of me, but I'm just using eyes as an example. Would if you took my eyes, would you have like a spiritual connection with the person that you got the eyes from, or
I'm gonna let my mama's story tell you. I'm gonna tell you. My mama had a liver transplant,
mm-hmm.
and the liver she got was from a 12-year-old boy. My mama's a psychic sensitive already. She used to tell me that the little boy who liver it is
Mm-hmm.
used to come tell her how grateful he is she got his liver.
Oh.
But just like that little boy might be grateful that my mama got his liver, it's probably somebody else who's very despondent about you having an organ.
Mm.
They not gonna feed the person the same energy. And their body's gonna reject the organ, even with organ anti-rejection medication. Because it don't anti-rejection medication don't always work. Now, assume this. This is a hypothetical situation. Let's say it was a good kid, something happened to him, they took their organ. And the person they finna get their organ to, their whole life they've been a rotten SOB. And they put that kid organ in that person, that kid organ is gonna be like, no, I don't want this motherfucker living off me. And it'll reject it, even with anti-rejection medication.
Oh.
Now, when you study organ harvesting and organ transplant, they tell you that anti-rejection medication don't always work. What's the override? The organ harvested, the person who it was is not um, in alignment with the person that received the organ some kind of way. They're not compatible energetically. So that'll override the biochemistry. Because the only thing that's going to override the biochemistry is the spiritual, right? Because the spiritual is what trigger each of the chemicals in the body. Some women so sensitive that if, let's say, for instance, a chick beat a dude and he a stone cold killer, he been killing people, and she had sex with him. She started having dreams that showing her the people he killed, when they killed him, how they killed him. And the woman, she not knowing no better, gonna start telling her dream, and this nigga gonna be looking at her like, hey, wait a minute, she might be working for the feds. But we don't know this stuff. They kept it from us. It was a secret. And any of those secrets that they kept to oppress my people, when I find out, I'm blowing the fucking whistle. I'm Emmett motherfucking Till in this bitch. I'm Chief Littlehorn. I'm blowing the whistle. But once you understand how it works in the mechanics, it don't work on you no more. Your spiritual defenses naturally adjust to make the corrections. But as long as you ignorant to it, you can't activate your spiritual senses. Because you don't know there's no danger there. That's the dangers of conforming. We can all work together. We can work in the same factory. But we all still have to be individuals in order to have our spiritual protection active.
Mm-hmm.
We got to be who we are.
Facts. That is facts.
That's very that boy. I swear that was pretty deep there, Rod. I'm telling you. So when it comes down to, I want to go back on the contracts, the soul contracts. Now which two parties signed this contracts is what I want to know.
The soul contract don't is not a two-party contract. The soul contract is your book of life. In your book of life, you the only one wrote it. Don't nobody know you well enough to read it but you. That's why they tell you to know yourself. Because if you don't know yourself and you accept other people's opinion, you can't never follow your purpose because you can't find it. It's a one-sided contract that you made with yourself. It just plays out where a whole bunch of people that made those one-sided contracts showed up in order for them to live out each other's contract. So our contracts all align to give us what's called the melody of life. And we just going through the part in creation where the melody of life is converting a war story into a love story.
Yeah, I got the smoke on that one too, Rod. Oh,
Yeah, and welcome, guys. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. And if y'all have any questions, put it in the super chat. Go ahead, Nisha.
no, I was done. I got the smoke with with Rod on that one. Go ahead, Dulce. You good?
Oh, you don't want to talk to me, Dulcie, huh?
No, I just have a lot going on back here as well. But when we talk about, put the matriarch back in charge, I know you were kind of talking before we go live, but what are some things you're seeing as far as problems that we have with the matriarch today, and how do we go back to the point of putting him in their proper perspective for our community?
So the biggest obstacle we have is the lack of understanding and the difference between matriarchy and patriarchy. Most people believe that feminism is matriarchy, when feminism is the tail side of the patriarchal coin. Neither one of those follows the laws of nature. They both are antagonistic to the natural living of people. Matriarchy is harmonic balance with the earth and the universe. And under the matriarchy, the difference between matriarchy and patriarchy is it's about what did you develop yourself to accomplish. The matriarchy is going to push you in a direction to accomplish what you trained yourself for. Patriarchy gonna put your ass where they want you to be, and if you don't like it, they're gonna bust you upside your head. That's not the same energy. Matriarchy act like a mother nurturing the family across the land. Patriarchy act like a spoiled ass brat in a human adult suit that can't get his priorities in order, trying to tell everybody else what they need to be doing. So the biggest obstacle is the misunderstanding of what matriarchy is and confusing it with the patriarchal reverse called feminism that's designed to stop the matriarchal rise. It's a war strategy.
So, what's the first thing that we need to do to get back on track?
The women gotta ignore what the men doing and decide to form a whole sisterhood with other women. And it's only based on 7 generations of children unborn, how y'all want their life to be. The next thing is who get to come. You need 2 X chromosomes at birth. That's the first thing, which gives you what's called mitochondrial rights, which means you can pass it just like you received it. And you had to have been born with a uterus and not a phallus. That's the standard for the recovering matriarchy. The caveat for XY females that think they can come into a matriarchal healing circle doesn't realize that they're going to be perceived as a parasite. And instead of their mitochondrial increase, the women that's raising their mitochondrial for healing is going to leech his until he drop dead, because he's going to be perceived as a parasite. The earth going to cut off everything that is antagonistic to the matriarchy once they unified. That's another thing they scared of, because a lot of the things that's here is parasites. It's parasitic to the earth. And only by the women of the earth making an alliance in motherhood and femininity can they activate the earth to send out the pulse to purge the parasites. It can't happen no other way. The men can't call it. Only the women. Because the first assigned contract to the earth was the gender contract that rendered earth feminine, which is why the women was first on the feminine planet. I don't know how they gonna be, how the man gonna be first on any planet, because you need a uterus to gestate a child.
Absolutely. Right.
Hmm.
In my lifetime, I seen the matriarch going out. I'm just saying. I remember when I was a little girl, we was always in the kitchen with grandma. Pop was always out doing what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? The barbecue grill always had the men around it. But the cooking, that don't happen no more. People are just buying food on out. There's no more cook. All the things that we did to make it a matriarch situation is has went out the water. You don't see it no more. You don't. I don't even think people have Sunday dinners no more. You know what I mean? Everything that made us a matriarch, mama, big mama type uh place, community is all out the water. And why do you think that that took place? That now we are what you would say, like, rather go to the corner store to buy food, like Chinese food and all that, all that type of stuff.
Well, first of all, families used to bond. This is tribal. No
Yeah.
matter what part of the planet you is, the family bonding time is always around the last meal of the day. The everybody that worked had to be off work for the last meal of the day. They made 24-hour work days so they could get as much out of you as they can. The reason you don't see that no more is the popularizing of everything being the right now, the microwave culture, the instant culture. People don't remember, but instant oatmeal used to take about 20 minutes. Now you put it in the microwave and get it out in two. Then the illusion of wealth or being wealthy plays out as a traveling person that has means eating at varying different restaurants gave birth to the fast food culture. Then they used the fast food culture to put addictive chemicals in the food so that you can go crazy when you hear about McDonald's. The babies lose their mind. McDonald's, take me to McDonald's. It's part of the social engineering, social manipulation,
Mm-hmm.
cultural deprivation of our original culture. It's the fall of the matriarchy. The re-enriching of our original culture is the rise of the matriarchy. That's the difference. When you go study the history of pre-Columbus America, you find out we was a matriarchal people. Men didn't have time for politics. That was the mother's job because politics wasn't what it is today. In the pre-colonial tribal structure, it was about the allocation of the resources to the people within her area. That's all it was about. It wasn't about trying to get elected. It wasn't about me trying to use this position to talk fancy in front of people. It was about being effective and getting my people their resources so even the orphans got something to eat.
So, Rod, if we were always, we always had a matriarchal system, then is it safe to say that the demise of it was our fault?
You said the demise of it?
Yeah. If we're trying
No,
to get back to it, it's gone. So what happened?
it's not gone. It's just underground. You still got families having dinners and family gatherings. That ain't gonna stop because it's in our DNA. but it's not going to be as pronounced because there's more people that's following the socially engineered paradigm than following what's in their soul. If you can get people to return to their self, their natural self is going to want to be around a family. And some people who fall out with their family, they still want to go out. That's why they got the club. So you ain't got to be around family. You could be around a bunch of other people that don't like their family. So y'all could be the same miserable together and get drunk about it and dance.
Huh, that's interesting.
I
Yeah.
had to I had to laugh because somebody said she just had to say. I just looked me. She said she just had to say something about the Chinese store. He said he get ready to go in the Chinese store. But you know what? I know why I was saying it though, but I'm sorry. I
Listen,
am so sorry.
they used that Chinese shooting of that boy along with the death of that brother in Texas, right? Those not the only people that died that day in that area. You have to always ask yourself when you see something on the news. If you see them report the death on the news, go to your Google and ask how many people in that city died that day.
Mm.
So if they only put one on the news, but 20 people died, why they pick that one? People not noticing that they use people's real life pain and suffering to drive a narrative.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell you something is staged, it don't mean that it ain't real. It just means they either saw it happening and didn't stop it so they can use it, or they actually did it so they can use it. People be really dying and they really be using people's misery to exploit the public because they know that even though we separate, it's like Buju Banton say, through that mystical communication within, we keep on coming together. So a brother in Texas misery, a brother in Maine misery gonna be felt in California. As soon as we see it on the news, we feel a pain because we know the common denominator to the suffering, us. But the numerator is what keeps changing because they keep changing it in order to control the narrative. We the only common denominator. Now, it don't mean we the only ones suffering. I used to watch them put police shot a brother on the news all the time, but when they shoot the cracker, did nobody report it. It just be a little footnote in the local news. And I used to be like, why is they doing this? Until I understood the war strategy behind controlling a narrative. And people actually are passionate about injustice wherever they see it. And they not always don't have to look like us to be passionate about the injustice. They make it look like we the only ones care about the injustice. But when we go protest, we got a rainbow of people from different tribes around the world just protesting with us, but we don't acknowledge that because we don't want to know that there's other people that is resistant to injustice. That'll prevent us from ever forming an alliance across all of the barriers they told us we shouldn't form alliances across. That was the whole purpose of something like the Bangdong Conference. We don't even know, most of us don't know that ever happened. That the melanated nations of the world, Asia, Africa, and the Americas, went to a conference by the invitation of Sukarno in order to figure out what we're going to do about this white supremacy bullshit. We don't know that happened. So we think we ain't never been doing nothing about this. We had no counter strategy. We didn't try to stop it. We just went along to go along to get our ass kicked. No, we've been fighting the whole time. It's just that based on they contracts and they blood oaths in the secret societies, we was only supposed to educate ourselves about the condition, but they wasn't allowed to tell us. It was a secret. We had to do it on our own. We couldn't rely on a system. It was a secret. And everything they use to oppress us, I don't care. I'll tell you all their secrets. Because I ain't got no contracts to none of them. I just know they shit better than they do.
Right. Even though you said the men may be mad, if the woman because they're saying put the matriarchs back in charge. Don't you think that's the best thing for them? To put the matriarchs back in charge, and that makes the house a home.
A lot of them, all of them, not gonna be angry. Not every man. A lot of us understand the balance of nature, and we with it. It's the patriarchs that don't want the women to take their power back, because to them it's like saying, I'm gonna take my ball and go home, and then ain't nobody gonna have no ball on the court. They don't want that to happen because they can't masturbate their artificial power all over the place. The real power is the women. To organize the women to decide that enough is enough, and we not finna let y'all keep doing this to our babies. And they got a whole military, multifaceted attack on stopping that. The whole world right now is fighting the attack of the patriarchal subjugation of the matriarchs. And that's what they call in the Earth Alliance, the white hats. It's a whole full scale, everybody doing something different. I'm not doing the same thing that the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the Commander in Chief doing. They doing something entirely different than what I'm doing. They still working for the matriarchy though. They just doing something different. All of the tribes is not fighting. A lot of the tribal elders, just elders now, do not know the old ways. And I don't give a fuck how many feathers they put on. If they don't know the old ways, they ain't gonna get us out of this shit. Because only by returning back to the original order and structure of the land, and we got constitutions that predate the 1776 usufruct agreement that they passed off as a constitution. That had nothing to do. The Iroquois Constitution still active. We just don't use it because it's a matriarchal constitution that empowers the women to reclaim the land. Every sister need a copy of it.
So what land exactly are we reclaiming? Are we just saying that in, are we just saying land in quotation marks just to mean, how should I say it?
Look,
Are
in
we
the tribal
using
tradition, this is what I'm telling you. In the tribal tradition, the first land you have to reclaim is called the self. The old tribal tongue, the word for earth and the word for body is the same word. So when you talk about reclaiming the land, it starts with first reclaiming who you are. In the modern system, that's called status correction. But the modern system status correction is designed to displace your actual status. But the tribal structure is designed to enhance the claim on your status and to reconnect you with similarly situated people that's reclaimed their status. You can't use the enemy system to overthrow the enemy system because it's designed to, sensors is designed to catch it and to neutralize your ass in your face. But they don't have an answer for us returning back to the tribal structure that predate their system. And the fact that the Pope repudiated the discovery doctrine, and they have something in law called fruit of the poison tree. Everything that was founded using the discovery doctrine as the justification is now void. That means that the United States government gone, the British government gone, the people that's running Haiti, the people that's running Jamaica, Cuba, all of them, when he repudiated the discovery doctrine, lost the foundation by which their artificial governments was established. And when that happens, the people from the land is responsible to reclaim the land right, meaning the right to exercise your sovereign tribal jurisdiction over the territory, which gives you the physical earth back, but it don't give it back to you as a possession. It give it back to you as a caretaker. And when you get to understand how the position of a chief work, if you're going to get somebody free, you have to get everybody free first. That means you got to get people free that don't even like your ass because they was done wrong. Now, once they get free, if it's any dirty player still in play, you also responsible from the chief's angle to get rid of the problem. Period. So the restoration of the matriarchy is actually the healing of the nations. It's all of y'all coming together as mothers first, because the highest frequency of woman is called mother. And in that frequency, they can't stop y'all from collectively reclaiming the entire planet as the soil. Because the Iroquois Constitution is a matriarchal constitution, any matriarchal order on the planet is allowed to use it by matriarchal order, by matriarchal rule. They allowed to use that written document as the standard by which they evict the colonizer under Article 77, no matter where they at on the planet. Now, under the matriarchy, the reason they can use it is because the matriarchal order is only use what works. And the understanding of that is if it's workable anywhere, it's workable everywhere. If it's not workable everywhere, it's not truly workable anywhere. It's an illusion. It's the leadership chapter in the Holy Tablets. So once you understand the power that you have was being diminished because the most scared thing or the most fearful thing for the system is for y'all to understand y'all true power. The first right of the earth right goes to the women. The men are the kinetic shield and protectors that guard the women while they raise the babies. If you're not prepared to protect the women raising the baby, you're not prepared to be a man.
Peace, everyone. Again, like, share, and subscribe. It is that time that the link has been dropped. So if you have any questions, go ahead and hit the link, or you can hit the super chat. What's up, Dots? That's all I was saying.
Oh, yes. I had going back to that piece of like the body part, like the organs and stuff like that missing. I
Mhm.
was looking, I was looking up at something, and it said that the kidneys, the two most common organs that are trafficked or whatever are taken, are the kidneys and the corneas. Which was interesting, and I wanted just to hear your thoughts about why that is.
Well, the reason why kidneys is most trafficked because you could take one kidney from a person
Right.
and leave them functional
Mm-hmm.
without them ever knowing it's gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's access of, but you also need a demand to meet the supply. So the other thing about it is just like they eat cow kidneys and pig kidneys, they eat human kidneys too.
Okay, Rod, I got one for you. Okay, this is kind of, maybe it's kind of a little weird. Okay, and I'm talking about cremation. All right, when you are cremated, and I swear I'm against it. I'm being very frank. I'm against
You know, I
cremation.
talked about that earlier, so I
I
probably
know,
already
but I'm
answered.
great. I'm great to say this about cremation. How do you know? Okay, if you're being cremated, and just say somebody else was cremated just before you, you know what I mean? How you know that you're not mixed up in somebody's body that was before you? And
Once,
if that is the situation, then spiritually, what does that do? I know that sounds kind of,
okay, so first of all, the purpose of cremation is to reduce you to base carbon, ashes. In the carbon state, it doesn't transfer the spiritual frequency of the DNA any longer. And it's a high probability that when they cremate one person, that somebody else's ashes get in there, but it's not going to spiritually affect either one of them because they in what's called the carbon state. You get it?
yeah. I mean, cremation always spooked me out, you know. When I
That's because
saw
it's
it,
not the
I always had
cremation.
feelings about it.
Yeah, it's not the cremation that bothers you. It's the idea of burning up.
Yes, and I always feel like when that happens, you want to. I don't know. I just, people have their own personal feelings about it. Whatever it is, I'll just keep it to myself. But I always wondered about it. And
Yeah.
have you ever seen it after someone's cremated? Have you ever took a look at it? Took a look at the ashes and how the bones are still, some of the bones still there. Whew.
I have my uncle and my auntie's ashes, but what I would say about it, what makes it big for the people that do cremate or feel like cremation is a thing they would go with, is that they want their people to understand that they're not that body that was
Right.
attached that lifetime. They're beyond that. So you going back to visit the body or anything, you wouldn't be visiting them. They're beyond that
Mm-hmm.
point.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that, Dulcie.
Because
You know,
everybody.
we had different ways by which we disposed of the physical body when we left it. We had cremation ceremony rituals. We never buried nobody 6 feet deep. The earth takes too long to use you when you bury that deep. We used to bury between 3 and 4 feet because the earth would then be able to use your body as fertilizer for the vegetation above you. So we didn't have 6 foot burials in boxes. The 6 foot burial in boxes was designed to slow down the decomposition process and to keep you from rapidly returning back to the earth, right? And that slowdown slows down how soon you can reincarnate because you have to have the spiritual energy has to be the body has to decay enough for the rest of the residual spiritual energy to give the codes up of because everybody that come in when you come in your DNA is like a combination lock. If it's not the right combination you can't get in that body. So your DNA is a frequency receiver, right? And its frequency is then projected out in order for the light, the infinite light, to refract off the crystals in the DNA to make who you are come back, right? If we was not in physical, let's say it killed all of the humans today, we had to figure out another form to take. And the infinite light, if it can't find a human avatar, as the template, it'll develop a new template from the existing animals. The closest thing, the highest vibrational frequency next to the human is the higher primates. So it'll say, okay, we can't incarnate them back in humans because all of the human body avatars is gone. So what we gonna use? Let's use these other primates. Eventually, the primate that is decided to be used to hold the frequency is gonna change physiologically because the phenotype have to change to match the genotype, and the genotype is the expression that comes through the DNA by the sequence that's organized. So if it organizes the sequence for you to come back and there's no human avatars, then some of y'all just gonna be some pretty ass monkeys.
I agree with you. That is so crazy. I agree. Because the reason why I agree is because they found bones of giants. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why I'm saying when we don't see them type of giants on Earth now. You know what I mean? Like they still trying to figure out how did all this stuff get built in Egypt. It couldn't just be no regular little people like us. You know what I'm saying? So I can say I agree with you. And the crazy part about it is about now they're finding. Did you see that tall boy that's like 18? He's like over 7 feet. So there really is tall people, but I can see where there were giants at one time, and the avatars are probably how we are now.
You
Like you
gotta
said.
remember the whole concept of the giant. It was written by little people.
Mm, mm,
So let's say, for instance, you in a tribe, and then the tallest person in your tribe ever was 5 feet tall. All of a sudden, here comes Shaq.
mm.
It's a fucking giant. Here
Yes.
come Akeem Olajuwon. Here come Andre the Giant.
Excuse me.
And the tallest person that ever been known to exist in your clan is 5 feet tall. That's giants, and the story is giants. Now, the same, if you have a 7 foot tall person, you can have a 10 foot tall person.
Right.
It's
Right.
all in what's programmed in the DNA,
Yeah.
right? The oldest continuous active DNA right now is little people DNA. So it makes the giants look like anomalies because the majority is not giants,
Right.
right? Now, if if all everybody you ever seen was 7 feet tall, when you see the little people, what you gonna call them? Gnomes, trolls,
Mm.
right? Leprechauns, elves, fairies. So it's all perceptive at that point. It's your perception. When we not in the physical body, we infinite. That means that we are the Titans. But when we take on physical form, we have to condense that shit down. You can't fit a Titan on the earth because the earth fit inside a Titan. That's how big they is. They are energy. They're infinite energy, great and expansive energy. And the only reason why it's more than one because they take on a different frequency. And on each frequency is like a timeline to us. So we exist in multiple timelines, right? So each timeline represents a Titan and a frequency. The same as dialing the radio. And all of our perception changes just like dialing the radio or turning the TV. When the channel change, what you see or perceive changes. And the only way to change the channel in the collective human experience is to alter what we're putting into the egregore by frequency of how we think. The more of us raise our thinking frequency, the closer we get to the collective reaching what we call godhood. So some of us came down to the lowest frequency in order to raise all of the ones stuck in the lower lower frequencies back to the higher frequency. Them the ones they call fallen angels, but they didn't fall. They came down here to fix this shit. Because the earth angels, the women, said enough is enough. So we come in as physical expressions of the complaint to fix the problem. But you can't fix the problem unless you first fix yourself. That's where we run into the problem at. Because everybody want to fix everybody else, but don't nobody want to fix themselves. Because that would mean you have to admit that you got tricked. That all that shit they told you to believe was some bullshit. And to think that you was able to be tricked makes you feel less intelligent. But you didn't know that you had to be a certain level of intelligence to even fall for a trick. Because the damn fool not going to fall for it because he ain't going to see it.
Um, I had so my last question for you, like under the umbrella of bloodline and genetics, is there a correlation between European Jews, I'll put that in quotes, and like in baby harvesting, and organ trafficking? Because you made a great point earlier when you were saying that it's no longer about racism but classism when you get to a certain social a class, right? And when I think about like in Epstein, for example, who was hyper focused on creating, babies with a certain phenotype and genotype, you know what I mean? Like it I don't know, a light bulb kind of went off. So like, what would you say? Is there a correlation in your opinion between the two?
The European Jews operate from a couple of books. One is called the Talmud and one is called the Mishnah. In there, it ties them to the Kabbalah. Through the Kabbalah, it ties them to Babylonian ceremonial magic. Under Babylonian ceremonial magic, those are referred to as sin rites, S-I-N, rites, R-I-T-E-S. They teach the sin rites as part of the overculture in all countries. So the Christians is warning you about the Talmud, the Mishnah, and the blood rituals of Babylon by telling you that we all born in sin, meaning we born under this Babylonian system. In their books, it tells them about molested children. If they not one of us, it's okay. That's not okay. Then the next thing it tell them is about blood sacrifice. And even tell you about that in the Old Testament. First blood of the righteous is the first blood they spill in their conquest as the sacrifice to their gods in order to keep the people from being able to consciously defend themselves successfully. Once we understand that these people are using these systems, we can mount a defense. But if you don't know they're using them, then you can't defend against them. They use three primary sin rites. That's excerpts from what's called the Scrolls of Destiny on how to manage mass groups of people. One of them is called money magic. Money magic is actually using a magical system to allow people to give their energy up by using a currency like a fiat as the medium of energy exchange. And then they do this through what we call modern money mechanics, which is fractional reserve banking over here. But they use the same system around the world, which falls under Uniform Commercial Code. All this is coming from European so-called Jews. Then they got the sex magic. The sex magic is to diminish the women through the rape campaign. Because as long as they keeping the women in raping the women and keeping them in that hysteria that follows, and the hysteria itself is contagious throughout the feminine gender. So now women are hyperly vigilant about the men and they don't trust the men, but they don't know that this is a conjure magic. So they can't properly help their sisters that they've been using the magic on because they don't know it's not just a physical act. It's a whole sorcery control, contrived event in order to keep the females traumatized so they'll never be whole enough to initiate the restoration of matriarchal order. And the last one they use, money magic, blood magic, sex magic, money magic. Those are the three tools. That's the main tools in the toolkit. They got subsets of those, right? Just like all three of those fall under seeing rights, seeing falls under the order of Babylonian pantheon. The Babylonian pantheon is connected with the Sumerian pantheon, right? Now, all of these systems is put in play, first of all, to conquer the earth. Second of all, to subjugate the matriarchy, the only ones that can stop them from conquering the earth. Third of all, is to attack the men so that they're not fit to protect the women when it's time to protect them. It's all military. It's all based on deception. And this is why they all running around telling these well-dressed lies like we came from Africa, because we got nappy hair and Africans do too, but we don't look alike. We don't walk alike. We don't talk alike. We don't play basketball the same. We don't eat the same food.
Cook the same.
We don't cook the same. And
Yeah.
so they use all that as to keep you spiritually disoriented. Because when your spirit is in proper alignment to the earth, don't none of that shit work on y'all. Y'all sixth sense that they be telling us is a mythological sense, women's intuition, is the most powerful of all of your senses. So when they can teach you to distrust, disregard, and ignore your women's intuition, then at that point they've subjugated you. You are under their edict now. Now they can steer you where they want to go. It's crowd control. So yeah, they connected.
Mm-hmm.
So women's intuition, that's it's a real thing.
Hell yeah.
It's a real thing, but a lot of women don't listen.
That's because they've been taught not to believe in themselves. If you don't believe in yourself, your intuition can't develop an accuracy level. So you don't never know what you're feeling. That's the development of social and emotional intelligence. The more emotionally intelligent, the more laser beam accurate your women's intuition is. And the reason the patriarchs don't want you to believe in your intuition is because when they tell you that that nigga is half gay and you need to watch him because he might be on the down low, you right, but he don't want you to know it.
Half
They
gay,
got a
really,
whole
right?
system in place to keep you from knowing that the guy that you in love with is a half a fag or a hoe one.
Wow.
Right, right. So where do you think that actually stems from not being able to fully trust your gut, basically?
Trust your women's intuition. There's actually several sources. One is the spell of sleep, that's 6,000 years from Babylon called Kingu. The second one is the Amen spell, which they tell you in church to say amen after your spell, after your prayers. That's a spell you casting on yourself that you don't know you casting on yourself because you don't even know what the fuck it means. But you saying it after every time you pray. Amen is a alternate spelling of Amun. Amun is the priest who wants the inner God to remain unknown to the outer world so as not to intimidate the rest of the mortals. whereas the I-10 is the open outward expression. By changing that at the end of your prayer, changes the speed and accuracy of what you're praying for being produced. When you saying Amun, you are really telling your God self to conceal your God power. So don't do that shit I just asked you to. So the third one is the broken mirror spell. The broken mirror spell was a jealous woman who put a curse on the collective sisterhood, wrote it on a mirror, and broke it at the crossroads to shatter the sisterhood at the realm between life and death, what they call the crossroad, right? The bridge between the physical and the spiritual. That's called a high magic spell. It's since been reversed, but here go the problem. The residual is still present, which is designed to interfere with women coming together in healing groups. And when you start to come together, you'll see sisters start attacking their sister for no reason, and they don't even know why they're doing it. That's the spell. Whenever a group of sisters is sitting around and they peaceful and they laughing and singing and having a good time, and then one of them just get mad at the other one, that ain't her, that's the spell. She was just the one who the spell was able to capture first in order to upset the organized group.
Hmm. That's a good one right there, Rod.
The other paradigm they use to kill your self-esteem is social engineering. What they tell you in the media about a woman. They don't never tell us no good stuff about women in the media. They don't never tell us no good stuff about men in the media. It's all bad. Because as long as we keep seeing all the men think all men, oh, we all fucked up. All the women ain't shit. All the men, bitch. We get to feeling that way on the inside. We start manifesting that shit in our reality. Now imagine when there's thousands of us that
Yes.
feel that way.
Yeah, why
So
are we
Great
attracted
point.
more to negativity than we are
Great point.
positive things? A lot of us. I'm not gonna say all of us, but a lot of us. We run see something on the internet about a fight or argument or something like that versus something that's positive and entertainment. We're more attracted to that. And another thing I want to say that I want you to in Islam, I want to say I appreciate the where how they are buried. You know what I mean? They just wrapped and buried straight in the earth, not in a box where it would take longer for you to become part of the earth. You know what I mean? You just wrapped, just like a mummy would be. In other words, you cleaned, then you wrapped, and you just put right in the ground. And that's how I want to go, just like that. No casket or nothing.
that's actually cultural
Hmm.
because of the geography of where they from. It's
Hmm.
just like in New Orleans, a lot of the graves is above ground in sarcophagi because you might bury somebody and their coffin might float up
Hmm.
in the river.
Hmm.
Right, because it's below sea level.
And it's sitting on water.
Hmm. I didn't know that. Mm.
Yeah. Look, St. Bernard Parish is right off the coast of Louisiana. St. Bernard Parish is underwater. It was a land shelf. Now, they tell us that it's been underwater for a really long time, about 1,000 years. That's not possible. The reason I know it's not possible, I say it's not possible because they got churches sticking out the water with crosses on top of them. But it's more likely that one of them Mississippi wars with the French, that the French blew off the shelf and it sank. Then that is, otherwise we didn't have no churches over here. That's not how we built our um our worship sites. Most of our worship sites was open air or outdoor worship sites. That closed door lodge style worship sites is not from the land. It's foreign. So to see a church steeple sticking out with a cross on it, I know right then that's some bullshit they telling us. It don't match the actual facts. But they do know St. Bernard Parish is under the ocean. They do know that. They have found a pyramid also not too far from St. Bernard Parish under the ocean. How I get there?
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that. Hmm.
Yep. It's a pyramid right there. They
Wow.
actually was trying to take pieces off of it and use for some kind of building project. But they decided not to. So all they took is a couple of what look like gutters, but they're not gutters. They drainage flow directors at the bottom of the
Mm.
pyramid. But it looked like a gutter, or like a concrete gutter.
Oh, wow. Bernay, Benet Miller, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that name correctly, but he asked or she asked, I'm not sure whatever. How much truth is in repeating an end of day script with a Zionist twist is the question. It's at the bottom of the screen. How much truth is in repeating an end of days script with a Zionist?
I don't really understand what they're trying to find out.
Okay. I tried, Benet. Sorry.
The question is not
Interesting.
clear enough for me to answer.
Okay.
It wasn't clear to me either. That's why I didn't even put it on the screen. I ain't lying. I didn't even fully understand it. They have to clarify that again.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
Rod, you never answered the question I asked about why are we more attracted to negativity than uh, positivity.
Social social engineering.
Hmm.
We're not more attracted to negative. We attracted to
Not
energy.
everybody. Yeah,
Right. Watch
energy.
this.
Energy. I agree.
If you go to a Michael Jackson concert, you see people fainting, falling out.
Hmm.
That's a higher frequency reaction than us saying ooh at a fight. Look at how many people want to watch the fight versus how many want to watch Mike perform. You got people that had a chance to see Michael Jackson perform that will leave a fight so they don't be late. We're not attracted to negative. It's just that our observation of negative shit is sensationalized to make it look like we only care about the negative. And but the problem is we ain't scared. That's where the problem come in. We ain't scared of the bullshit because we know it's gonna pass. But we don't have it in the proper filter when we looking at it. Because it's exciting to see somebody getting their ass whooped, especially somebody who's known for kicking ass. That's exciting. So when you see certain stuff, it's exciting. Excitement is what you're attracted to, whether it's good or bad. It's the excitement. It's the thrill of the moment. It's the adrenaline rush that comes with what if that was me? Whether it's looking at Michael Jackson performing in front of 10,000 people, or whether it's looking at the dudes down the street scrapping out, the attraction of that is an energy that says it's sensational. Let me see. So they rather exploit us on the side of the negative and downplay us on the side of the positive, not knowing we attracted to both of them because it's energy moving. And we are our subconscious alchemists trying to move some energy. Stereotype.
Very interesting. This was great, Rod. This was awesome. This was amazing. It really was. It's always a good conversation when you come through.
Yeah,
Really and
I'd love,
truly.
I be liking talking to y'all as long as y'all don't put too many people on the screen. Start giving me a headache.
You're popular, they would ask what they have questions for you, right?
Well,
Hey,
yeah, I'm
ATK.
man. Just let them come up and ask their question, and then we can put them down. Let somebody else up.
Okay, well, y'all heard them. Okay, last call. If anyone has a question, I want to ask Rod. Hit the link now.
So, Rod, what should the men do if you're speaking to the men that's watching now in the chat? What should they do to assist us in getting it right and bringing it back to that, putting us back in charge?
Whenever they see a woman's gathering for healing, let every woman that they know that there's one over there that's doing the work. Get out y'all way after that. Y'all, once y'all start healing, they gonna be so happy that they ain't gonna be able to contain themselves. My sister Heidi and Barbara called it being juicy. Y'all gonna be so juicy, they gonna be like, God damn, I should have sent her a long time ago. The men, we have a responsibility to protect, but we also, because the men stole all of the knowledge, we got a responsibility to get the knowledge and bring it back to the women so that they can benefit the children. Everybody want to make everything about themselves. It ain't about the individual, it's about the collective. As soon as we start individualizing it, it's two forms of selfishness. One good, one bad. Constructive selfishness is you selfish enough to put yourself in a position to help the most people. The destructive form of selfishness is you don't care who you step on to get it as long as you got it. You don't care who don't got it. That's two different frequencies in two different directions. But the underlying title is the same, selfish. The true meaning of selfish is to center yourself on yourself so that you have a frame of reference for the world. But they don't want to tell you that. They want you to think that there's only one way to look at selfishness, and that's destructively.
Right.
Sometimes you have to, when your self-esteem low, you got to talk to yourself arrogant in order to learn what it feel like to have self-esteem so you'll know how to activate it.
That's a great question, Niche. Because I was going to ask something similarly, like, what would you say if someone would have come to you and say, so what would be the course? So what would be the solution, right, to reverse, as a collective, to reverse like the social engineering, to reverse those generational curses? Is it isolation? Is it, what would you say?
Well, there's a movement of women right now. All of them not even doing the same thing at the same time, but the feminine is on the move. Different organizations, women are putting together different stuff in different places. But it's going to all have to some kind of way be energetically linked, bridged. And so the foundations, I'm gonna give you two examples. Like Empress Redbird have a tribal tradition that she had to show the women by actually doing it, right? Once she do it, now they have a template using the matriarchal constitution that's never been overturned, overruled, or it's just we just stopped using it. It's still active. By reactivating it, and then the women forming a individual groups wherever they at, following the blueprint. It's a frequency change, and all of those high-ranked individuals over the military and governments already know that when y'all start making this move, they have no legal standing to stop y'all. They already know. All they can do is support y'all based on the competency of the matriarchs that's giving the instruction. And that means that if the matriarchal order is to secure, right, the peace and dignity of the most amount of people under the matriarchal territorial jurisdiction. If they take the whole land back, we're responsible for everybody on the land having food, clothing, and shelter as the first foundation of matriarchal order. In order for the transfer to be a peaceful transfer, the order have to be given to the commander in chief on how to effectively use the armed forces in order to make a peaceful, secure transition from the usufruct corporate jurisdiction back to the matriarchal organic territorial jurisdiction. All these people already know this. We the ones that need to be informed. So that's part of what I'm doing right now. My whole campaign has been trying to give out as much information as I can to get us accelerated to the redemption process, because the ancestors had an oral tradition that override all their paperwork. Don't nobody want to talk about it. But if once you start seeing it being done and the effectiveness of it as it begin to take hold across the land, then the people start saying, oh, wait a minute, we should have been did this shit. Why we ain't been do this shit? Didn't nobody remember the old ways. That's the only reason we still in this shit right now.
Yeah. Wale mentions Gary, Indiana. No, not it was Joe Smith, I believe. He asked, what is with everything going on right now? How can we not say it's about race? Thanks, Dulcie. How can we say it's not about race? Speaking of Michael Jackson, see how they're doing our people in Gary, Indiana right now with the blackouts and all of that kind of thing.
It's supposed to look like it's about race. That's one of the strategies of the war, is to make it look like it's about race. But when you realize that the people at the top look like us, but they ain't us, and that they was using pale faces to do their dirt so that they could stand next to us, infiltrating us, talking about kill whitey, and they whitey. Once we grasp that concept, we'll know why it's not about race really, and that was only one of the tools to divide and conquer. Everything that you think is directed toward a racist agenda in America is directed toward the suppression of tribal order. That's it. They use everything in their bag of tricks to suppress the tribal order. The tribal order require us, I don't give a fuck if it's a pink baby or a brown baby. If it's a baby, I'm responsible for it if it's under my watch. Now, a grown motherfucker on his own. But if it's a child, we got to make sure that we protect them. That's why we have these racist paradigms flourishing, because ain't nobody protecting the innocence of the children, and they teaching that shit to babies before they have any discernment about reality. It's supposed to look like it's about race. Remember, they've been trying to coax us into a race war at least for 60 years. They taught Charles Manson and Joseph Sinkyu mind control techniques to form a black and a white army to fight each other in order to kick off the Armageddon, and both of them went the opposite direction. So they locked Manson up for life. He became the first whistleblower, the first one to tell us about the fluoride in the water, the first one to tell us that they had took the godship from us by taking us out of our natural environment. He called it the jungle. We still call the city the jungle. But the whole thing was originally was trained to, he was supposed to recruit an army of college-age white kids that was supposed to clash with Joseph Sinkyu when he recruit a group of gangbangers and other dissident black individuals to fight, and they were supposed to meet up to kick off the Armageddon. Then Manson called it helter skelter, right? Joseph Sinkyu said, "Fuck that. I'm not finna go get none of mine. I'm gonna go get what I do is I go get Patty Hearst now, and I make them do the dirt." And he started hitting them in the pockets. So they didn't send him to prison. They blew his ass up on the 6 o'clock news. So you none of you other niggas don't try it. It's supposed to look like it's about race. But when you find out that you had just as many pale faces helping the Black Panthers fight for our liberation, you had the White Panther Party, the Weather Underground, you had all these pale faces fighting for our liberation, and they didn't even know if they was gonna take part in it when it was over. They just call themselves standing up for what they thought was right. It's supposed to look like it's about race. Because everywhere we at, we mostly there. So when they attack us, it looked like it's a racial attack. But the people that's pushing the buttons also look like us. But they hiding behind people that don't look like us. It's a chess game. The black pieces and white pieces. And the pawns is killing each other. While the high priests and the bishops are sitting in the back field laughing.
Chilling, right? It's gotten so bad, when you're talking about the like the disrespect and the attack on the matriarchy, it's like the pendulum has swung so far left, in my opinion. It's so extreme that, like, that we get mocked, right? For example, a lot of people get mocked when they say, when we're talking about genetics. So when you're talking about your genealogy, um, and it's almost like you get mocked saying, "Oh, grandma doesn't know anything. You listen to your grandma don't know nothing, right? If it's not in the book, it can't be true." That's how extreme I feel like it has gotten. We're
It
completely
is.
out of order. That if it's
You're
not in the
absolutely
book, it's
right.
not valid. You know.
You're absolutely right. That's why I'll be doing debates because I know most of the people that wrote them books was relying on people that was professional liars.
Mm. Yeah.
But I look like debating you using a known liar as my frame of reference. Doesn't make sense to me. I'd rather read what the birds and the fish tell me because they more likely to tell me the truth than half these motherfucking professors.
A lot of these professors went to school for this, that, and everything, got degrees and everything, and found out everything they learned was lies. Everything they learned was lies. I remember Dr. Ben was saying something like that. Went to school
Yeah, all of it's
for his
look. All
theology
our elders, all our
degrees.
elders said the same thing about their system.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Clark,
Yup, Dr. Clark said it too. Yup. All they went
Dr. Glenn,
learn all this stuff about theology and all this here, got majors and this, that, and other, and found out all the stuff that they learned was bull crap, was lies.
Sheikh Anta Diop didn't trust the information so much he found new ways of analysis to bypass their bullshit. He went to the highest degrees in their university. He said, "Yeah, since y'all doing that bullshit, I'm gonna do this right here because this is more accurate." Like we hear about radiocarbon dating and all that stuff. We didn't know Diop was the lead um, scientist that changed that because of the accuracy from based on how they was dating stuff prior. They got other chemical dating processes that he developed too. A whole lot of our elders found out from being educated that they wasn't trying to do nothing but educate us into being a fool. And I'm not finna be no educated fool.
Facts. It's funny. This it's funny, and we can ready to shut down, y'all. Nobody didn't come up to ask Rob, and we had a 2 hour time frame that we was doing, so we could ready shut down Sunday night. We all want to get in the bed because people gotta go to work in the morning. But Rob, what you're saying is so true. We finding out all of a sudden you can't eat this, you can't eat that. Everything we see as kids, we can't drink no more milk. We can't. Everything has changed. Lord have mercy.
The hardest part for people to realize is this: we've been at war.
Mm-hmm.
This was the result of warfare. From the poisoning of the food, to the poisoning of the water, to the poisoning of the soil, to the mortgage frauds and the title deeds that they made up. All of that was products of the war on the tribes of the land.
Mm-hmm.
They legal system, they prisons. We didn't have prisons for they came. Why we need them? Who created to where people are so messed up that you got to put them in a cage like an animal? Who created this society where you have to do that? We didn't need the oldest prison was in the 1800s. What was we doing for all of the thousands of years? We knew how to raise children. That's what we was doing.
That's
We was
something else
teaching our
was
children.
invented. A
Yeah,
different
we was teaching.
cuisine was invented.
Yeah, we was teaching our children the basics of life. Respect yourself that's gonna show how you respect others. If you are disrespectful to other people, that means you don't got no self-respect. If you lead with respect because you are respectful of yourself, it's gonna trigger people to automatically give you respect. Now you don't got to fight for it,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you It's like me. My mama and them did send me all over the country to be tested by different people in my family and other families. And because of the way my parents raised me to be respectful, I've walked through some of the most dangerous and treacherous communities, and I ain't had no problems. I ain't had no problems. Hey man, who is you, man? What you ride? I ain't from around here, dog. I respect your territory. I don't want no smoke. Oh, I'm just checking, man. New face in the neighborhood. Yeah, what's going on? What you smoking? Got some sticky green over here. Basic respect because I have self-respect that I give to the other people on the land. They let me in faster. And then when they communicating with me on a day-to-day basis, I don't come with bullshit. And I call it soon as I see it. And they respect that. And then they tell when I was locked up, I used to overhear other guys say, "Yeah, man, you can't run out on Rod, man. He don't play that, man. Don't even try that, man." I don't have to tell them I don't play that
Mm-hmm.
because people that know me will tell them, "He good dude, man, but you can't run that on him." Right? Now, if you want to write a business plan, if you want to do some legal work, he go to the law library with you. He'll help you write up your business plan for when you get out. He'll help you write up your life plan if you want to. I done it for a lot of guys. I had guys when I was still in prison that went home and wrote me letters trying to take care of me when I get out because they were successful based on the assistance I gave them. And I was like, no, I'm not letting no grown ass man take care of me. Not finna happen.
That's right.
I want you to use my part that you was gonna use on me to help your family.
Well, okay, family. Um, we have put Rod's Cash App in several times, so we want y'all to show him some love because he always comes with good information that you can learn from. So make sure y'all give Rod some love in his Cash App. Well,
And
okay.
check your Cash App, Rod. Check your Cash App.
We're down.
In 30 seconds, check it.
Mhm.
All right.
Mhm.
And y'all know I don't do nothing for money, so I don't care if
Oh,
they
we
don't send
know.
it down.
I know.
I
Okay.
And
know,
that's
but it's
why
all
we appreciate it
that.
even more. That's exactly why.
If people can go to the store and buy seven, what? How much is a pack of cigarettes now?
Yeah, about
Shoot.
$7.
Oh, more than anybody $7. I think they're $15 here.
I don't know.
I
Up
ain't
here
gonna
they're
do
about
nothing but
7.
hurt 'em. The cigarettes gonna kill them. I
It
got
ain't the cigarettes, it's the chemicals they put on the cigarette.
Mm.
what you say? The nicotine? Would you say, right? I'm sorry.
It ain't the cigarettes, it's the chemicals they put on the cigarettes.
And the cigarettes, okay, but it's still in
Look,
there.
we've been tobacco cheats for thousands of years. We ain't never catch no goddamn lung cancer.
Why
Mm.
is so much done changed? They tell you can't eat steak if you got arthritis. Now black our color, copper color Americans been eating beef, pork, chicken, everything. Live to be 100 years old. Now everything kill you.
That's because the food, not the medicine no more. They systematically came up with food um, um, availability of foods that wasn't medicine. They was the fillers between the medicine.
Hmm.
Like they told us that the dandelion was a weed.
Mm, that's a good
Dandelion is medicine,
word. Mm.
right? It's a lot of these plants they told us is weeds. We spraying the yard, killing that shit that we don't know is medicine.
And it's medicine, dandelion, yeah.
Our medicine was in our food. That's why Big Mama and them used to slow cook everything like
Mm.
greens, beans to extract all of the nutrition out of the underlying food that they cooking. They would slow cook it.
Mm,
That
mm.
fast cooking it at high temperatures, it breaks down the nutrition in the pot liquor where it's not as nutritious as if you had slowly leached the nutrition out into the pot liquor by simmer.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that one little thing changes your nutrition availability. And remember, our mamas used to be our nutritionists before it was ever a field of study.
That's true.
They created the nutritionists based on old ladies telling them you can't feed that to the baby, he won't grow.
Mm-hmm.
Get him some cornbread and some pot lick off them collard greens and make his baby food out of that, or whip you up some greens and cook you some liver and put the gravy in the grits. They don't want us feeding babies, but they came up with some shit called baby food now.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how we used to feed babies.
Not what we did.
I remember before baby food really took on in the community that the mothers used to chew the food up so that the baby could
Yeah.
swallow it.
How
Now,
about
if they see you
chicken
doing
bone?
that,
You
they trying to
rattle
charge you with a crime.
the chicken bone. How about when you a baby, they just give you the chicken bone and let you chew on it, what? Before they
You know
start
what they
getting
replaced? You
taste
know
out.
what they replaced that with, don't you?
Hmm.
They replaced that with pacifier.
Yeah, with the pacifier and
Yeah,
all that stuff they put in your mouth when you was teething. Get that baby a chicken bone. Shoot, we used to tear that chicken bone up. There's a lot of flavor in that chicken bone. Man, I just took my pots out for to make some greens.
you good.
Well, okay. All right. The night is over.
All right. Well, we
Yes,
appreciate
yes.
everybody
Right.
for coming out and tuning in and enjoying these 2 hours with us. And shit, appreciate y'all.
We
Thank you.
appreciate
And
you.
thank you again, Rod. Thank you so much for coming.
No problem. No problem.
Y'all
Appreciate
understand
y'all for having me.
that
That's
we
right.
Hopefully, we can shed a little bit of light on the difference between the matriarchy and this bullshit we got going now.
That's
I'm
right.
telling you.
That's
yes,
right.
sir, we need to bring
Well,
back the
you're the best, Rod. You're the best. Yes, hit that cash app, y'all. Show love. Rod, check your cash app, okay?
I'm checking it now.
All right.
check
Freedom.
it out. Okay. Wait a minute, y'all. Trying to get the intro back on. Sorry, y'all. Sorry about that. All right, I'm going to end it up if it start. Well, guess what? If it don't start, we out anyway. All right, y'all. We had a long night. Oops. Sorry, y'all. Just trying to get the intro to do it, but it ain't gonna work for me. So
It's all right. Well, just catch us next time.
we're gonna do this one, y'all.
Scramble your mind.
That's I don't like that one. I had to cut
Mm,
it right
Hey,
out.
that's that intro you came with. That was hard as hell.
Oh, wasn't it? I was trying to get it back where it at.
mm. Good night,
I
y'all.
was
Y'all have a good
I was
night.
expecting
Okay.
I was
Bye.
expecting your original song. That one threw me off.
I know
Yeah.
you love that one too, but I don't know where it is. It's on here.
Okay.
All right, y'all. Good night. Good night. I'm